Hello and welcome to a brand spanking new Crafty Simulations video. Now, I have a bit of a soft spot for diamond aircraft. I still say my favouriteest, bestest of all time, twin-engined aircraft here on Flight Simulator is the DA42 by Cows. So I've decided to have a look-see at other diamond aircraft that are available in the sim, both payware and what come with the sim. So there is going to be a review videos on the two diamond aircraft that come with the simulator, but that's later. Today we're going to be focusing on SimSolutions Diamond DA20-C1 Eclipse, an aircraft I've had in the collection for a while. However, for some bizarre reason, I haven't actually flown it that much. In fact, I'm struggling to remember where it is or how many times I've flown it, and it's just an aircraft. I don't know. It's just been sat in the collection, sat in my hangar, and I've never really gone to it. So here it is. I'm going to make a video of it, and I will read you the description. Like I always like to do, I like to read the description from the company, from SimSolutions, and what they say about this aircraft. So the features list actually is quite small. So I'm going to read the blurb from SimSolutions. So they say, the DA20-C1 is a two-seat single-engine aircraft using 100 or 100 LL fuel and having its first flight in 1991. The DA20 has seen more than 1,000 models produced. SimSolutions' rendition of the DA20-C1 Eclipse comes with real-world experience with high-resolution textures, user-friendly systems, and superb modelling inside and out. Okay, so that's what they say. So the features list, what actually comes with this aircraft, is a fully modelled inside and out aircraft. 4K PBR textures. Fully modelled 3D cockpit. Modelled with real-world experience. That's always a good thing. So I always like to hear that companies are going to actually source the real aircraft and get the real information, the real feel of the aircraft, and translating that into the simulator. So that's good. I like that. This is where it gets a bit desperate. Opening of canopy and fuel cap. Okay, I've opened the canopy. You can see that. I'm not really bothered about the fuel cap, but yeah, okay. We have a GTX 327 transponder and a Davtron clock system. Okay, so that's the features list that SimSolutions have put into their aircraft. Now, to be honest with you, I mean, I've heard, obviously, of the DA20, but I don't believe I've ever seen one. So I actually had to go to the website, to Diamond themselves, to get their blurb. So this is what Diamond themselves say when it comes to this aircraft. Imagine taking your favourite sports car and adding wings. I've got a terrible accent. I think I might be looking a bit Jeremy Clarksonish. That's the feeling you get when you strap into the two-seat DA20 and take to the sky. Sporty, sleek, and exciting. Describes me. Yet surprisingly affordable. I doubt that very much. The DA20 offers outstanding performance with impressive durability and economy for commercial training. Okay, that's what Diamonds say. Translation, it's probably not as expensive as a DA42 or DA62, 64, I can't remember the other twin-engine version, but it's a Diamond aircraft. Of course it's going to be blooming expensive. I would love to find the price of one of these things, but I couldn't. So anyway, let's talk about the real thing. Let's talk about the flight sim version. So, this is what it looks like. It's a rather ungainly aircraft because you have a twin-seat tandem approach cockpit fuselage, but these massively long wings. They are, I think, abnormally long for... Hello, we've got some geese flying over. Abnormally long wings. Now, obviously, this probably aids in its ability to fly long distance. There will be a benefit to it. I'm not an aeronautics airplane designer or anything like that. I've just noticed either my eyesight is a little bit off, but if I put that exactly, give or take, straight looking at the aircraft, the nose wheel is actually canted over to one side. The only other aircraft I can think of, off the top of my head, that has nose wheel canted off to one side would be the A10 Thunderbolt. And that's a tank buster. And the reason why that nose wheel is canted off to one side is because it has a massive, great big gun. I don't think this aircraft, I think if this aircraft here had anything like a pea shooter, it would go backwards. But anyway, let's stop talking about A10s. So going back to the looks of this thing, again, it's Diamond aircraft. They seem to do this. They make very good looking aircraft. I mean, ignoring the fact that obviously the undercarriage is fixed. Okay, so you have to ignore that part. But the way the wings just blend into the fuselage just looks really, really super. And SimSolutions here have really done a blooming good job on the reflections, and everything. It looks absolutely fantastic. It has been created with a lot of care, a lot of love, and a lot of knowledge, and I like that. And it's difficult. I have heard it is very difficult to make curved surfaces like these aircraft that have nowadays. Straight lines computers can deal with. Curved surfaces like this, they don't. They tend to struggle a little bit. So very, very good, I've got to say. Definitely a looker. Like I say, all Diamond aircraft, they all have that kind of futuristic look. They don't look like Cessnas, they don't look like Turbo Arrows or anything like that. They have their own bespoke, unique look. So let's move on to the interior, shall we? So, yeah, right. It's a good interior. But if you're going to pair this up against other Diamond aircraft here in the sim, I'm probably going to say that it doesn't look as... I don't want to be mean to them, I really don't. It's good, it's got all the information you need, all the dials are there, and I dare say this is exactly what the real aircraft looks like. It just looks a little bit off to me, I don't know why. Can't put my finger on why it's off. Yeah, we'll deal with the seats in a minute, but instrumentation wise, it works. Let's put it that way. I think we've been treated rather well to the Cow's DA42. That cockpit looks absolutely fantastic, and as well, their cockpit is a G1000 setup. This one has full instrumentation, and we do have avionics here for transponder and a GPS, but the G1000 system makes an aircraft's cockpit less cluttered, whereas this is organised. You can see it in all different sections because you've got all your instrumentation, your 8-pack here, lights are down here, engine and battery, and obviously starting up is there, flaps. T's and P's are over there, fuse panel is there, and obviously the avionics is there. So it's all itemised exactly how it should be, and it's organised correctly as well. But yeah, again, we don't have a working fuse panel. It's not a deal breaker for me, if I'm perfectly honest. It's nice if it has it. If it doesn't have it, I'm not bothered about it. So moving on to what I presume is to be furry, woolly seats. Yeah, that's not the best texturing. I wouldn't say it'd be that smooth with that kind of material, but again, I'm not really concerned too much. Yeah, it's good, it works. Looking all the way around, obviously breaking my neck doing this, but again, good reflections. A compartment back here for storing stuff. Again, not the best texturing, but yeah, how many times are you going to look behind you like this? It's just not going to happen, is it? It's nice that it's there, so I can deal with that. Good texturing. I think it gets a good pass from me. Not the best I've seen in Flight Simulator, but again, not the worst in the world. So, talking about where in the world, you're probably wondering, where in the world am I? Well, because we've just had geese fly over, I'm not in England. I've actually decided to get some American scenery. I don't have too much American scenery. I don't fly in American land. I don't fly too much outside the UK. So I decided, if an American aircraft comes up here on the flight sim, and it's going to be featuring in a video, which this one is an American American aircraft, I decided to actually get myself some decent scenery. So we're actually at Martha's Vineyard, which I am being reliably informed is to be in Massachusetts. I've flown around here once and it looked pretty good. It's a good airport for my purposes. We can fly obviously general aviation aircraft. We can fly big twin engine aircraft. We could fly fairly big, I don't want to say airliners because I don't really cater towards airliners, but there are Learjets. So, hang on a minute. Yeah, we got some business jets sat over there, so the runway caters towards them as well. And it is good scenery. So yeah, Martha's Vineyard, I believe by Burning Blue Designs. Like I said, just got it. So again, that's why we're getting these geese flying over. I don't know how they interact with the aircraft. I'm not going to try and find out, but it is nice to see geese flying over. In fact, I was taking off for the first time in this aircraft before doing this video about a day ago now, and as I was taking off, I flew underneath this pack of birds, and I just found it fascinating to see birds flying around. So yeah, have a sup of coffee. Today's flight, we are going to be flying in the local area. It's not going to be too long. We're going to be obviously keeping an eye on this area, and we will, whether we feature this aircraft in more videos, I'm not 100%. It does have an annoying thing. It's called the sound. I guess, you know, the sound does sound realistic. It just sounds odd to me. So let's get this thing going. So we'll shut this up because we don't need that. So we'll turn TrackIR on. Centralize that. So, battery, position light to a live aircraft, parking brake is set on, just run through, so we've got the lights on that we need, prime the engine, no sound to that. Mixture is full, so we only have mixture controls, we don't have a prop pitch, so crack the throttle. Brakes are set, clear on the left, clear on the right. Mags are set. And as you can hear, a rather unique noise. In fact, I'm just going to check how that sounds. It's a unique noise, I've got to say. I'm not a total fan of it, if I'm honest, but I guess that's what the aircraft sounds like. So, put the transponder into standby. Zero the altimeter, because we're going to stay in the local area. And we'll let the Garmin unit start up. So we'll do our flap check. So we have 3 positions, so flaps are up at the moment. Flaps to medium. Flaps down. And flaps are all up. I've got to remember how to use his GPS now. Don't use his GPS too often, if I'm honest. Sounds better from the outside. Prop animation's a little bit weird, but... Right, let's get my feet on the old rudders. So we're now squawking 1200, which is what we need. We're just going to set the GPS to get it's acquiring its satellites at the moment. I remember a few updates ago, this update process of getting the satellites was a lot quicker, and they made it more realistic. So at the moment it takes a while, a lot longer to... There we go, it's worked out where we are. We're not going to be using it, but... So, lights are set, mixture is set, just come off the brakes. Definitely is a weird noise. Like I said, I did a flight. I always do a flight before I do the actual video to check that everything's all working well. Obviously we have new scenery and an aircraft I'm not familiar with. And I found this aircraft to be quite a nice aircraft to fly. Simple, but good. So we do cross a runway here. It's like a T formation for the runways. So we're not going to be taking off down there. We're going to run all the way down the taxiway here, and we'll be departing out of runway 24. I have noticed as well the trim indicator. Now normally this is a light system and you'll have an amber light or green light or whatever it is, and as you alter the trim, that light will move up and down to indicate if it's in nose down or nose up or neutral. For some reason I can't see it. I can't remember if I ever saw it the first time I ever flew this aircraft, but it'll be nice to have it, but unfortunately no. Seems to be a ready supply of geese flying over, but I'll keep an eye out for them. We're just going to park ourselves off to the right over here and just make sure that everything is honky-dory. So this will be a flapless takeoff. Got plenty of runway for this. Turn the strobe lights on, taxi lights are off, landing lights are on. We do have an ECU button here, but it doesn't function. For those of you that have been keeping an eye on the other Diamond aircraft, they have an ECU system that you can check. I'm not sure whether the Eclipse has that kind of function. I'd be surprised if it doesn't. But in this version on the flight sim, it does not. So just checking our T's and P's. Engine gas temperature is okay. Zoom that in a bit. Not sure what temperature that one is, it doesn't say. But fuel PSI is good. Fuel is good in the tanks. Oil temperature has climbed up, but it's not in the green yet. PSI is in the green, that's good. Ampage is good, and voltage is in the green, so we're all right for that. This is not a study level aircraft. I wouldn't put it on the same level as the Cows aircraft or quite a few other single-engined GA aircraft. So we shall now start squawking altitude. It's a very weird noise, and I'm not going to say it's an incorrect noise, because I know Diamond aircraft have a tendency to have different style engines which have different noises to what we're expecting. So I'm not going to say that SimSolutions have got it wrong. I'm just going to say it's a rather unique noise. So we're clear on approach. So, being a kind, considerate pilot, we'll wait for the birds to vacate. Obviously, that's part of the scenery package here for Martha's Vineyard. Right, so they're out of the way. No more on approach. No more coming in. Mixture set. Flaps are up. Lights are set. Let's go. We'll check the audio. There's 60 knots, there's 70 knots, and we're airborne. Very simple aircraft to take off. We'll keep her low, gather some speed. Like I say, very simple aircraft to get off the ground. About 70 knots she wants to fly. Not the fastest aircraft in the world. We hit the yellow at 118, is that 118? Yeah, about 118 knots. And we redline at about 164. So I know two rather interesting facts about Martha's Vineyard. One, I used to have it as scenery in FSX, and that's about the only time I've ever flown from it. And two, it was actually the location, I believe, for the filming of Jaws. I can't remember the name of the village or town that was in Jaws, but it was actually filmed here. Or should I say, it was actually filmed out there. So once you start trimming out this aircraft, it's actually very easy. I keep saying it, it's a very easy plane to fly, very stable. It might be something to do with the fact we've got very, very, very long wings. Now, along with Martha's Vineyard scenery for the airport we just took off from, I also got scenery for Katama Airstrip. I want to pronounce that right? Probably not. Which is where we are heading straight for now. Again, another burning blue design piece of scenery. So I want to see if that's loaded in properly. I believe I've put it in. Hard to tell where the runways are. This one is a grass strip area, but I believe the little white building down there is what we're looking for. You can just see the areas marked out for the runways. Obviously a very much general aviation airfield. Definitely unique noises. Definitely unique. Again, I'm not complaining. This is probably what the aircraft sounds like. I've currently got a little nav map running on my spare screen at the moment, and I've just noticed the name of that island, which is just over to our 4 o'clock, and there's no way on this planet I'm going to be able to pronounce that. It sounds like Chappaquiddick Island? Yeah, right, I'm probably going to butcher some words here. So like I said at the start of the video, I do like my Diamond aircraft. I do like Diamond aircraft in reality. They make some very unique, futuristic looking aircraft, and we are blessed here on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 because there is, I want to say 4 variants now of Diamond aircraft. Obviously we've covered the Cows DA42, but I will be very interested to see what the Microsoft versions were, the aircraft that came with the flight sim. So they are going to feature in future videos. So I think we're going to bring ourselves in for a landing. So landing's on, fuel pump is on, mixture is full. Steady descent. Got a plenty long enough runway here. Airfield is to our 10 o'clock. That's set down to mid. Retrim. So last checks, landing lights are set, mixture is set. Flaps for one stage, don't need any more for that. Slipping onto the approach. A little bit of rudder action to keep ourselves relatively down the centre line. Flaps up, tanks lights on, landing lights off, and we'll park her in the GA section. Strobe lights off. Stand by on the transponder, don't need that anymore. So, positives of this aircraft, very simple to fly. Really wants to fly and take off at about 70 knots. So very, very simple. Downside, I'd have to say the sounds are different, I think is the politest way I could say. Like I say, I haven't heard the real aircraft, so, you know, maybe this is... I don't think these are carbon recordings of the actual Eclipse aircraft. It's a flight sim version of it. So we're just going to keep an eye on our wings as well. At the moment, I've just realised that our wings are quite long. I don't want to smack that turboprop. So yeah, sounds are... I think better once you get in the air and a high throttle setting, but on the ground now they don't sound particularly that good. Graphically, it looks the part. I definitely got to say, externally, it looks fantastic. Internally, it works. There's probably a few issues related to the shading and textures. Fuel pump off, text lights are off, strobe lights are off, positional lights are off, and battery is off. So yeah, I would say the real negatives, I would say, are that obviously some of the textures look a little bit subpar. I mean, the bits and pieces you're actually looking at, you've got good depth. You know, you can see that in that avionics pack is actually sitting out. Same as the instrumentation sits a little bit indentated, you know, inside the cockpit. You know, it's got a good 3D effect, but things like this look poor. Things like that look poor. I don't know again what the real one looks like, but that might just be a not finished rear section. But again, you don't have to pay too much attention to that, because that's all you're looking at there, the stuff at the front. And if you want to look at something that's good looking, if I get that to actually look right, we can safely say that the exterior of the aircraft looks very, very good. So it gets a pass from me. It's not my favourite Diamond aircraft, for the reason why I bought it some time ago. I've only flown it a couple of times. But yeah, stay tuned for more Diamond aircraft here on the channel. And I believe, even though this channel is more about GA aircraft, the next video, we're bringing back a Warbird. So stay tuned for that. If you've got any questions or comments about this aircraft or the scenery of which I'm flying from, please bang them below, and I will get a reply to them as soon as I can. And I will see you guys in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator video very, very soon.